In our previous videos, we have discussed in very detail the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, and you have seen how mathematically or theoretically this principle can be proved. In fact, taking the one-dimensional wave packet, I have derived this principle. Now, whenever any theory is developed, definitely in physics, we need its experimental confirmation. And these experiments are performed with positive attitude. That is, the experimental scientists have aim to verify or to validate the theory. But you will get very surprised knowing that when Heisenberg proposed his uncertainty principle, in the formative periods of quantum mechanics, this principle was very difficult for physicists to accept. It is well known that Einstein was never comfortable with this uncertainty principle. People thought of different experiments which would in principle be doable but which would defy uncertainty principle. So the thought experiments was actually performed not to verify it but with negative approach. It means people tried to defy this principle, not to validate this. So this is a very interesting fact that कि इस प्रिंसिपल को लोग सही साबित करना नहीं चाहते थे बल्कि गलत साबित करना चाहते थे. गलत साबित करने के एम से एक्सपेरिमेंट किया गया, जो कि एक बिल्कुल ही सरप्राइजिंग बात है. एक्चुअली वी विल सी टू famous thought experiment market. The experiments which we will discuss are not the experiments that can be performed in laboratory. These are actually hypothetical experiments, or you can say thought experiments. And among those thought experiments, I will discuss only two experiments. But in this particular video, I am going to describe only one experiment, which is diffraction of a beam of electron by a single slit. Okay. In fact, when you say that beam will be get diffracted, that means definitely we will have to produce electron beam. Okay, and that will be incident on an aperture, and so that it will get diffracted. Okay. So actually the aim was to locate an electron in this beam to an arbitrary precision. Okay. So let us see the first thought experiment, which is diffraction experiment, or you can say diffraction of a beam of electron by a slit. Okay. I will describe in this experiment, in this video, only this experiment. Okay. See the experimental arrangement. This is, again remember, this is just a thought experiment. In fact, in this figure, I have shown this AB is a slit. What is this AB? AB is a slit. Definitely in your course on optics, you have studied the chapter diffraction, and in Fraunhofer diffraction, you have studied this single slit. And you can see a beam of electron, which is actually a plane beam, because according to our figure, the beam is incidencing on this slit from infinity. So the rays of the beam has been shown parallel to each other. It means a plane wave or a plane beam is incidencing on this single slit. Okay, and you know that when this beam of electron will incident on this single slit, then after passing through the slit, the beam gets spreaded due to diffraction effect. And this spreaded beam may be represented by a superposition of plane beams traveling in various directions but all having the same frequency as the original wave, so that the diffraction pattern is viewed on the screen. Okay. In fact, I have shown here that the two diffracted beams get superposed at this point P. Okay. And the angle of diffraction is theta, or angle of deviation is theta. Now, if you will draw a line AC which is perpendicular to the beam BC, this angle is actually 90 degree, then AP is almost equal to this CP. So, you can say that this BC is what? BC is actually the path difference between these two interfering beams which get interfered at that point P. Now, if you consider that this delta Y is the width of the slit, it means we consider that AB is equal to delta Y. Then, according to the geometry of figure, this angle B.Sc, you can see the figure, this will be also theta, because this angle will be 90 minus theta, this is 90, and so this is theta. And from this triangle ABC, which is a right angle triangle, you can easily now find the path difference BC, because you know the condition of maximum and minimum in case of interference and diffraction is dealt in terms of the path difference between the interfering waves. So from this figure you can see, if I want to find the value of sine theta, what will be that? That will be BC divided by AB. Okay? And you know this BC is the path difference which our aim is to find, and AB is width of the slit, which is delta Y. So the path difference between these two interfering waves is equal to delta Y sine theta. Okay. Now, if you have studied the theory of single slit in your course on optics, then you know for minimum of nth order, this path difference should be integral multiple of wavelength of the wave. So you can write the condition for the diffraction minima of nth order, which is given by delta Y sine theta equal to n lambda. What I have explained, I have mentioned here for your convenience. You can note down these things in your notebook, and that will be a very good assignment or very good notes for your examination purpose, particularly in university examination and also in examination like UPSC, CSE in physics, for physics optional. Okay. So this equation defines actually the condition for the nth order minima. Now, if I will talk about the first order minima, then we can take n equal to 1. So taking n equal to 1, you can write the condition for first order minima in this term, delta Y sine theta equal to lambda. And therefore, this delta Y is equal to lambda divided by sine theta. Okay. Actually, as the diffraction has taken place, evidently the electrons have passed through the slit, but we cannot say definitely at what place in the slit the entrance of the electron took place, so that the uncertainty in determining the position of the electron along y-axis is equal to width of the slit. Okay. So this width of the slit is actually the measure of the uncertainty in measuring the position of the electron in y direction. So I have mentioned here that this y is nothing, this is simply the uncertainty in position of electron, particularly in y direction. Okay. Now, it means this equation 2 defines the uncertainty in position of the electron in y direction for first order minima. Okay. Now, you can see this figure. Initially, I have considered that the electron beam is traveling in x direction. This is actually x direction. Okay? And as the electrons are moving in x direction, so definitely its the component of its momentum along the y-axis will be what? That will be 0. Because you know, component of any vector in a direction at right angle to the direction of the vector is always 0. So the y component of the initial momentum of the electron will be 0. But after diffraction, the electron is not moving either in x direction or in y direction. See the figure. Actually, electrons are moving in xy plane, making an angle theta with x direction. So now this electron will have both non-zero component, that is x component and y component of momentum non-zero. Okay. So what will be actually, as I have measured the position uncertainty in y direction, so we must measure the momentum uncertainty of the electron after diffraction in y direction. For this, let us consider that P is the magnitude of the momentum of the electron after diffraction. Then this P vector makes an angle theta with x-axis. So its x component will be P cos theta. Okay? And what will be its y component? This will be P sin theta. Okay? But you know, in figure I have shown that this diffraction angle is in anti-clockwise, that is positive. But at the same time, you can say that the diffraction may take place in all directions. Therefore, this angle theta may vary between from minus theta to plus theta. Minus theta to plus theta. Okay? Theta here actually is the angle of deviation for first order minima. Mark it, first order minima. Now, when theta will be minus theta, then what will be Py? Py will be P sin minus theta. But sin minus theta is minus sin theta, so this is minus P sin theta. So you can easily say that as theta varies from minus theta to plus theta, therefore the y component of the electron may have any value between minus P sin theta and plus P sin theta. Minus P sin theta and plus P sin theta. So I have mentioned here, you can see that as the electron may be anywhere within the pattern bit from angle minus theta to plus theta, the y component of momentum may have any value between minus P sin theta and plus P sin theta. Therefore, what will be the uncertainty in measuring the y component of the momentum of the electron? You can easily say that if we denote the uncertainty in measuring momentum of electron in y direction by the symbol delta Py, then that will be simply equal to P sin theta minus P sin theta. That is simply 2P sin theta. But you know from de Broglie relation that wavelength of the electron will be given by lambda equal to h over P, and therefore P will be simply equal to h over lambda from de Broglie relation. Therefore, this P I have changed by this h by lambda here. So you can say that delta Py is equal to 2 times h by lambda sin theta. Okay? So in this way, in this thought experiment, we have measured the position uncertainty delta y in equation 2 and the momentum uncertainty in y direction delta Py in equation 3. Now, let us find the product of the position uncertainty and the momentum uncertainty in y direction. What will be that? Delta y times delta Py. Let us see. We have seen in equation 2 that this delta y is lambda over sine theta. And you have seen in equation 3 that this delta py is equal to 2h over lambda sine theta. Now you can see this sine theta and this sine theta will cancel out, lambda and lambda will also cancel out. Therefore, the product of delta y and delta py is equal to 2h. Okay. So you can easily say that this product is greater or equal to h bar over 2, because h is Planck's constant and h is equal to 2 pi h bar. So from this result it is easy to say that the product of the uncertainty in measuring position and momentum of the electron is of the order of Planck's constant. And more strictly, since this result is greater than h bar by 2, so we can say that delta y times delta py is greater than h bar by 2, or it may be equal to h bar by 2 if the position and momentum will be measured with more precise way. So, and this is what? This is, the uncertainty principle. So you can say that the product of uncertainty in determining the position and that in the determining the momentum is always greater than this h bar by 2. Don't write here sign of equality, because according to our result, this is greater than h bar by 2. And this is actually the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So in this way, you can see that by this thought experiment, which was actually performed to defy the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, but we are not successful in it. And this experiment actually validates this uncertainty principle. Now in the second lecture, we will see another thought experiment to validate this uncertainty principle, which is actually called the Heisenberg gamma ray microscope experiment. But that I will discuss in my forthcoming video. Okay, thank you very much.